59-0. This Michigan football team has not been tested so far through 3 contests this year. They absolutely dominate UConn. Blake Corum is, without question, the player of the game with 5 touchdowns. J.J. McCarthy does nothing to make us think that he is not the guy that we thought he was, although no touchdown passes. He did have 2 passes where the wide receiver, one I think was Ronnie Bell, the other one Eric All for sure, were tackled inside the 1-yard line. He goes 15 of 18. Think about this, folks. 4-4 in the first game, 11 of 12 in the second game, 15 of 18 in the third game, 100%, then like 92% or whatever it was, and then now 83.3% completion percentage. Blake Corum, 5 touchdown runs on the day and only 12 carries. Then, look, it's the Ronnie Bell show. He had a couple hiccups, right? He had a drop or 2 in the opener. He had the only drop of J.J. McCarthy's passes in the first half last week against Hawaii, while being Michigan's leading receiver. And then again today, he is the Wolverines' leading receiver in a 59-0 victory as Michigan closes out their out-of-conference game, admittedly, against potentially 3 of the 10 worst teams in all of FBS, 130 teams total. I did see a ranking from CBS Sports a few days ago that did rank Colorado State and Hawaii, Michigan's first 2 opponents, as the worst 2 teams. So we'll see how UConn ranks in those bottom 10 rankings in all of college football this week. You are watching the Michigan Football Report. I am your host, James Yoder, 59-0. I am so glad that Michigan got the shutout, and I am very glad that they kept the starters in well into the third quarter because they brought Cade McNamara in towards the end of the second quarter, and I'm like, oh gosh, no more JJ. I'd love to see more as we get into Big Ten play next week. They kept the starters in for much of the third quarter. My players of the game, it's very offensive driven, right? Because Michigan played so many guys on defense. When I look back with player participation, I'm honestly thinking, I think they played 55 guys or so on defense. I was counting throughout the third quarter. I was at like 40, something like that. And they were just putting players that, in the fourth I've never even heard of. Blake Corum, 5 touchdowns. J.J. McCarthy, 83.5% completion percentage. No touchdowns, but 15 of 18 proves that his arm strength is only matched by his accuracy at this point. Ronnie Bell, 7 catches. And then his fellow wide receiver counterpart, A.J. Henning, had a run from a running back position, had a run as a wide receiver in that orbit motion behind the quarterback and the kind of little toss reverse, and a punt return touchdown. So those are my players of the game, all offensive driven, and obviously A.J. Henning mixing in on special teams. But folks, I would love to know from you guys, what's your one-word reaction from Michigan's 59-0 victory here on Saturday, September 17th, the third game of the 2022 season for your defending Big Ten champions? My one-word reaction is satisfying. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Maybe it'd be cool to see JJ get a couple touchdown passes because, this is the problem with Michigan a lot of times is they hand the ball off so much inside the red zone, the quarterbacks don't get enough touchdown passes. So JJ, after 2 starts, now only have 3 touchdown passes, not making any impact towards that record-setting pace that maybe a lot of people thought he was going to be on. But mine is satisfying. Michigan keeps the starters in a little longer than they had the first 2 games, gets the shutout in defense, no injuries that we saw or know of at this point. Comment down below your one-word reaction to today's 59-0 win. Let's get into my instant reaction. Big time takeaways from this game. This team, folks, is a well-oiled machine. I'm not going to tell Jack, people say, James, how old are you? Etc. Listen, I don't have to worry about my age, okay? I might be a little older than you think I am, but I act young, and that's all that matters. But what I will say is I've been watching this team for over 30 years at this point. I have been a fan, a diehard, have not missed a snap that I can remember in like 30 seasons. I'm not even joking about that. And I think it's the best team I've ever seen in my life for this program. That includes 1997. That includes 99. That includes 03, 04, 06, 2016, 2018, and even last year's 2021 team. This team is a well-oiled machine, and I think this quarterback might end up being the best quarterback we've seen at this school. It just looks easy. And I hope I don't look back in a few weeks and say, gosh, you were such a homer, Yoder. You just bought into the Kool-Aid. You bum. These teams are terrible. But McCarthy almost throws no bad passes, and it's really crazy. 4-4, 11-12, 15 of 18. These are the kind of stats that Michigan fans for years, at least from a completion percentage standpoint, will look at other schools and go, Gosh, I wish we had that. I wish we had a guy who would go 15 of 18 in the first half. I wish we had a guy who could lead us to halftime leads of 42-0 and 38-0. And then you remember, Cade McNamara played the opener 23-0. Had J.J. McCarthy been in that opener, folks, what would that Colorado State game been, right? Ended up being, 51-7. That game probably would have been 38-0 or something like that had McCarthy started that one. This offense with him feels so much different than past offenses with Michigan and certainly with Jim Harbaugh. But at 59 points, Michigan did not hit the over-under. The over-under was 60. Crazy enough, they missed by 1 point, but they covered the spread for the second time in 3 games, and I made some money. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Jack Lauderay, my boy behind the camera. We're going to the national championship game together. Jeremy and I went to Vegas after Ohio State-Michigan game. Jack and I go to the national championship game when Michigan makes it. And we're doing so because I'm betting money on Michigan every single week at BetUS. Got that Heisman vote on JJ. Plus 2,800. My 250 makes me $7,000. BetUS, 125% deposit bonus. You put in 100, you have an extra 125, folks, to bet with. You put in 2, 250. 3, you have 375 extra. It's chatsports.com/GoBlue. Go to that link. It'll drop you on the sign-up page for our show, and then you type in that promo code GoBlue, no spaces. But it's some NFL games this morning. Jack, I'll tell you this one really quickly. Stay with me here. Now, I know this is an ad read. Some of you guys skip these, but this is pretty funny. I think of myself as a pretty good bettor. And I'm in this league with my neighbor and a bunch of his friends and college buddies. It's a $100 buy-in, and every week you bet every NFL game. Just pick the winner of every NFL game, right? No spreads. And then 12 college games, so 28 games. I don't know how this happened. First time it happened last week, I went 9, 18, and 1 or something like that. I literally 33% winning percentage. I don't know how I did it because usually I'm pretty good without the spread. So had I been betting those games, I had some deposit bonus money, I wouldn't be without my entire bankroll. How do you go 9, 18, and 1 without the spread? That's pretty terrible, yeah? Yeah, Jack, give me one of these. So had I been betting those with BetUS, I wouldn't have lost all my money because I would have had that deposit bonus, 125% of what your initial deposit is. All right, folks, if you're loving the JJ and Blake show today, JJ McCarthy doing everything he needed to do to go to a 59-0 victory. It's so crazy to say, right? 59-0, and it felt that Michigan could have scored 80 or 90 points today. They left a lot of points in the field in the first half, but if you love what you saw to JJ, what you saw to Blake, 5 touchdowns, give me a like in this video. Let's make sure we put this show in the feeds on YouTube of every Michigan football fan who is out there looking for more information on this team. Hit the like button. Doesn't hurt you. Helps us. If you like what we do, we're not charging for this video. It would certainly help out us. We're here on a Saturday giving you all we can around this Michigan football team. It is the Blake Corum Show. Might we just rename this to the Blake Corum Show. 5 touchdowns, and it wasn't a phenomenal game from Blake where he's just making runs, although I think his 4th touchdown, maybe it was his 5th touchdown, one of the touchdowns in the second half, he had a wild cutback that I thought was just NFL-level agility. 12 carries, 71 yards, 5 of those 12 carries went for a touchdown. So didn't put up huge yardage numbers, but 5 touchdowns. He is tied a Michigan football record with 4 touchdowns in a half, 4 touchdowns in the first half for Blake Corum. So Diamond Edwards, as I told you all week, tweaked an ankle after that 33-yard touchdown catch and then the subsequent run he had right afterwards last week. He didn't play. So Blake Corum got most of the run inside the 5-yard line throughout this game. J.J. McCarthy had 2 passes, like I said, Eric All, Ronnie Bell, that they were tackled just right at the goal line, weren't touchdowns, so Blake Corum got a little action from there. I do wish sometimes that Michigan would just reward the quarterback with a touchdown pass, let him roll out one time. I didn't do it today. Blake Corum picked up all the love on there. 5 touchdowns for Corum, which I think brings him to 7 for the year, although I think he had 1 in the first game, 1 in the second game, so that would be 7 right there. What a year he's having so far, though. 7 touchdowns in 3 games, so he certainly is on pace for all Big Ten level. I am super pumped, folks. I put some hyperbole out on Twitter, so if you follow me there, it's at James Yoder. You guys know all the deal there. I said I was disappointed with Michigan being up 28-0 or 24-0, 31-0 in the second quarter. I'm like, I feel disappointed. They should have more. We've seen Michigan football teams throughout our history as fans where you thought they were going to be great and they struggle against a Western Michigan or a Miami. They're up 15-0, 17-0 in the third quarter. This team is absolutely dominating. 38-0, 42-0, 23-0 in the opener, And I want to know from you guys, can they go 12-0, undefeated regular season, first time since 1997? Give me a why for yes and for no. I'm tapping my why. I don't see any reason why this team cannot go undefeated, so let me know down in the comments. How about the first team defense, right? It's tough for me to analyze any one player, and I really recommend you guys, I don't want to give shout-outs to the competition, but Big Ten Network's replay in 60 minutes is actually terrific if you want to go back and look at things in games like this where you get 80, 90, 100 potential players that Michigan plays, and just like, who was playing when? Did Will Johnson play? Did this guy? How long did they keep him the starters? That Big Ten in 60, the entire game, they don't do any of the BS. It's just play. You see every single play. I learned a lot being at the Hawaii game, and with this defense, I'm hoping to learn a lot when I do the replay tonight as well. But in 3 games so far, this first team defense has given up 0 points as a unit and has given up 0 points in the first half. And hell, if it wasn't for a field goal against Hawaii, they would have been pitching shutouts into the fourth quarter, right? Hawaii had a field goal in the third quarter. If not, Colorado State was a shutout through 3. Obviously, today UConn was a shutout through 3. Hawaii got that field goal in the third quarter. If you guys are liking what you see today and you want a daily Michigan football show, we are providing the hub for you, the space for you. It's the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports. Daily videos from the first day of September, except for September 11th because delay in Chicago. I was stuck there for a while. But if you guys want a daily Michigan football show, this is your spot, the Michigan Football Report with your host, James Yoder, and myself at Chat Sports. Give us a subscribe here on YouTube. We just passed 21,000 subscribers. You see it at the bottom of the screen, youtube.com/MichiganTV. I was having trouble going deep on the defense because they pulled guys out, and on the defensive line, they're rotating 8 and 9 guys even early on, and 4 and 5 linebackers, and Will Johnson and freshmen are in there in the secondary in the second quarter. So you look at the stats, and they're okay. Junior Colson, 5 tackles, was your leader. Tough for me to figure out who, without watching again, who your defensive player of the game was. So I asked you guys, comment below. Let me know who your defensive player of the game was. Mike Morris seemed to have his name called by the announcers quite a few times, but I want to know from you guys so I know who to keep an eye out when we go look for more from the film of this game. That Michigan special teams continues to be special. The best special teams unit in all of college football, award-winning last year, best kicker, best punter, has now, we all thought A.J. Henning had opportunities to be special and did some nice things, but now this special teams, folks, a block punt by Caden Colasar, okay, that put Michigan right in scoring position, a punt return for a touchdown by A.J. Henning. You add that to kickoff returns, which Michigan doesn't really do much right now because the other team doesn't score many points. They're only really getting 1 or 2 kickoff returns a game, so we'll see how that shakes out. But when you have a team that can block punts, that can get return yards on punt returns, which A.J. Henning's done for 3 straight games, punt return touchdown today, add that to the best kicker in college football, the best punter in college football. Jay Harbaugh has put a wild unit together, and I gave the high five to Jay last week, the week before, etc. Another high five to him. This special teams is special, and I just feel it in my blood. It's going to make the difference in a game, if not for the Penn State game or Michigan State game, which I think Michigan should win those games without coming down to the wire. Maybe the Ohio State game. Maybe a rematch versus Georgia. Maybe the national title game. One of those portions of the Michigan football special teams will make a difference. Jay Harbaugh. Look, a couple years ago, people were dogging on Michigan's running back rotation, all this different stuff. He has found his calling as a special teams coach, and I think Michigan might be, on their last days with him. He could be on to another program as an offensive coordinator, head coach, go to the NFL. We'll see what happens, but he is rounding out into a hell of a coach. Big Ten season, folks. Michigan is defending their first Big Ten title since 2005 and first outright title since 2004, right? Defending at least. So they won the outright title in 2003, defended in 2004, back-to-back those years. And then they had the shared title in 2004 before the Big Ten title game, of course, and didn't work out for them in 2005. So Michigan will face Maryland Saturday, noon at Michigan Stadium. This one is big noon kickoff. And I'm interested to see what happens, right, from Michigan on Saturday because UConn, from a passing perspective, I just want to pull up their stats really quick and give you guys the rundown for UConn. They only had 110 yards on the day, 86 rushing yards. So that means that UConn only had, 24 passing yards today. Can Michigan do that this coming week against Maryland? And let's call him Tua's little brother, Talia Tagovailoa. They are playing SMU here in about 4 hours from now. So we'll know a little more about them, but not a ton. That game is next week. I expect Michigan to win the game rather, handily. But will they dominate? Will they be able to shut down a very potent passing game? I think in general, this football team is showing me everything I need to see so far. They should absolutely go 11-0 into the Ohio State game. We're going to see what happens with Ohio State, right? They kick off in about 3 hours from now. Ohio State, Toledo tonight. We'll see. Not expecting much there. But I want to know, what we get from this team as you go into Big Ten play. It's Maryland, then you've got Indiana, and then it's Penn State, and Penn State. Then you got a bye. Then you got Michigan State, and into the month of November, this team should absolutely go 11-0. Folks, if you haven't, I was tweeting out all game. It's at James Yoder on Twitter. Give me a follow. I'm putting out videos. I'm putting out hot takes. I'm putting out a little comedy. I'm always taking shots at Ohio State. So give me a follow at James Yoder. We will be back in office tomorrow. Bet some NFL games, Bet US, but I will have my Michigan football overreaction Sunday. So if you have any overreactions, things you're just thinking on, stewing on, go ahead and tweet them at me at James Yoder. We will see you on Sunday. Enjoy this victory. Until I see you again, though, go Blue.